This is the guided practice for 1.7. This is our last lesson in the first chapter. It's the problem-solving stuff. It's all that you've learned, all that you've taken with all the lessons, and now let's put it to good use and have some fun solving some problems. So this is the guided practice. You can follow along in your book. You can kind of try them on your own, whatever you want to do. But I'll be walking you through these problems. So let's look at number 1. Out of 30 students surveyed, 17 have a dog. Based on these results, predict how many of the 300 students in the school have a dog. Let's set this up as a equivalent ratio, okay? So 30 students, I'm going to try and write this real neat. 30 students, okay, and they have 17 dogs. Okay, so I want to make that equal. It tells me 300 students, so I want to go the same on top as on bottom. So 30 students have 17 dogs. 300 students. How many of the 300 students would have dogs? Okay. Now, so this one is pretty good because I'm looking at it and I'm going to go from here to here. These are the two numbers I know. They're both students. 30, I'm getting bigger, so it's going to be times something. 30 times 10 is 300. So all I have to do is times this by 10, and I'll have an equivalent fraction. And hopefully you're good that you can do some mental math. 17 times 10 is 170 dogs. These are equivalent ratios, and because they're equivalent, then it answers the question you have. It says, how many of the 300 students in the school have a dog? 170 would have a dog. Okay. Now, let's look at number 2. If 1 out of 12 students at a school share a locker, so 1 out of 12 share a locker. This is students right here. That's going to be equal to, how many share a locker in a school if there's 456 students? Wow, 456 students. Okay, so this is shared locker. So 1 out of 12 equals 456. I am going to, you can go back or forth, either way. I am going to do 12 times what equals 456. And the way I can do that is I could do 456 divided by 12. That gets me 38. So I'm going to put my 38 here. Then I'm going to see if that works. So 12 times 38 equals 456. So then all I got to do is come up here and do 1 times 38. Okay? 38 are shared. So 38 students share a locker. Cool. All right, it's the same ratio. 1 to 12 is the same as 38 to 456. Okay. Sabrina jogged 2 miles in 30 minutes. At this rate, how far would she jog in 90 minutes? Okay, so we got 2 miles in 30 minutes, and we're wondering how many miles in 90. So I look at this and I quickly can see this times 3. 30 times 3 is 90. So if I do times 3 here, I go from 2 miles times 3 is going to get me 6 miles. So in 90 minutes, she's going to go 6 miles. Okay. At what rate did she jog each mile? Now, that's a different question. So she is going 6 miles. Now we have to find at what rate did she jog each mile. So I want to take this, now that we know it's 60 miles in 90 minutes, 60 miles, or no, 6 miles in 90 minutes. Now I want to get a rate of how many miles, per hour. That's tricky. That is tricky. So let's go back to the 2 miles, 30 minutes. Because I know, this is miles. I know that there's 60 minutes in an hour, so all I got to get this to 60. And the way I do that is 30 times 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 miles in 30 minutes is the same as 4 miles in 60 minutes, is the same as 6 miles in 90 minutes. But because this 60 is also 1 hour, then I could say for my rate is she's going 4 miles per hour. So she's gonna, if she jogs for 90 minutes, she's gonna go 6 miles. But what rate is she doing? 4 miles an hour. Okay, it's a complicated one. It has a lot of different factors. One thing that probably would have helped me on this one is in one of the lessons we talked about tables. If I would have set this up as a table, it would have been so much easier. So sometimes you learn from doing the whole thing, and then you go back. So let me just do it that way for a second here. I have, this is miles, and this is time. Okay, so I have 2 miles in 30 minutes, and then we could go 4 miles in 60 minutes, and then 6 miles in 90 minutes. And this 60 minutes is my hour. So how much is she going per hour? 4 miles per hour. Okay? All right, go ahead and do the independent practice on page 75. And do numbers 1 through 6. Okay?